नमस्कार दोस्तों, एक बार फिर से स्वागत है आपका ट्रांस इंडिया में। रियल पीपल, रियल इमोशंस। Friends, our first episode was well received by the road transport as well as the automobile industry. We received phone calls from many people from all across the industry congratulating us and also giving us suggestions. In fact, we will be incorporating some of the suggestions from this episode itself. So please keep telling us where we can do better, where we can serve the industry better, and yes, please do subscribe to our channel Trans India. दोस्तों, पिछले हफ्ते रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट इंडस्ट्री में एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट अनाउंसमेंट हुई स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी की। हालांकि गवर्नमेंट इसे स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी नहीं कह रही है, गवर्नमेंट इसे कह रही है वॉलंटरी व्हीकल फ्लीट मॉडर्नाइजेशन प्रोग्राम। क्या है ये मॉडर्नाइजेशन प्रोग्राम, इस पर हम आएंगे थोड़ी ही देर में। लेकिन उसके पहले दोस्तों, एक बहुत ही खुशी की बात है इंडस्ट्री के लिए। हम हमेशा से कहते आ रहे हैं कि ड्राइवरों को कोई इज्जत नहीं देता, ड्राइवरों को कोई पूछता नहीं है। शायद देश के लिए ड्राइवर नाम की चीज़ या ट्रक ड्राइवर नाम की चीज़ एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करती। हम ट्रक ड्राइवर्स को सड़क पे देखते हैं और हम उनको इग्नोर कर देते हैं। आप अगर बाहर देशों में जाएं, आप हैरान होंगे कि वहाँ पे रेस्टोरेंट्स में या जो हाईवेज़ पर पिट स्टॉप्स है, वहाँ पर ड्राइवर्स एक नॉर्मल आदमी की तरह बैठ के अच्छे से खाता है, सैलड्स खाता है, जूसेस पीता है। हमारे यहाँ के ढाबों की क्या हालत है, द लेस सेड द बेटर। लेकिन ओलंपिक सिल्वर मेडल विनर मीरा चन्नू ने एक एग्जाम्पल सेट किया है सारे देश के लिए। वी आर प्राउड ऑफ हर अचीवमेंट, बट वी आर इवन मोर प्राउड that she chose to thank truck drivers for her achievement, or rather for getting her to her achievement. दोस्तों, मीरा चन्नू का जो ट्रेनिंग एकेडमी था वो उसके घर से करीब 30-35 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर था और वहाँ पहुँचने का कोई साधन नहीं था। लेकिन वहाँ पे जो लोकल ट्रक ड्राइवर्स थे, जो वहाँ से सैंड ले जाते थे, वो रोज़ मीरा चन्नू को अपने गांव से लेकर इंस्टीट्यूट तक पहुँचाते थे और फिर घर ले आते थे। ये सिलसिला सालों तक चलता रहा। लेकिन जब मीरा चन्नू ने मेडल जीता, उन्होंने सबसे पहले याद किया उन ट्रक ड्राइवरों को जिनका इस मेडल में दोस्तों बहुत एक अहम कंट्रीब्यूशन है। मीरा जी की जो मेहनत लगन है वो है ही, बट महाभारत में भी दोस्तों रथ अर्जुन चला रहा था। ट्रक ड्राइवर वो सारथी है जिन्होंने मीरा चन्नू को रोज़ बैटलफील्ड तक पहुंचाया। हम शुक्रगुजार हैं। वी वुड लाइक टू थैंक मीरा चन्नू फॉर थैंकिंग द ड्राइवर्स। इट इज़ नॉट एवरी डे दैट वी सी समबडी एक्नॉलेजिंग ट्रक ड्राइवर्स। थैंक यू सो मच मीरा जी, एंड बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर ऑल योर फ्यूचर टूर्नामेंट्स। वी होप you get the country many more medals in years to come. अब दोस्तों आते हैं हम स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी पे। दोस्तों, स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी की बातें गवर्नमेंट कई सालों से कर रही है। इनफैक्ट अनाउंसिंग द स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी, द सो कॉल्ड स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी, प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी said that the program is a significant step towards modern mobility with green growth. It will create a robust ecosystem for safer roads and structured scrappage sector. Structured scrappage sector ये एक बहुत ही अहम कड़ी है स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी की। दोस्तों, आज जो ट्रक पुराने हो जाते हैं, कई स्क्रैप होते हैं और कई सालों तक चलते रहते हैं। लेकिन गवर्नमेंट एक कोशिश कर रही है कि इस स्क्रैपिंग सिस्टम को एक ढांचा दिया जाए, इसे स्ट्रक्चर्ड बनाया जाए, एक सिस्टम हो बेसिकली। लेकिन इसमें ट्रकर के लिए क्या है दोस्तों? कार ओनर्स, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड, दे कैन डिस्पोज ऑफ देयर कार्स, बाय न्यू कार्स और न्यूअर कार्स, दे हैव फाइनेंस अवेलेबल, दे हैव द रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल। लेकिन जो एक पुराना ट्रक है वो एक ट्रकर के घर चलाने का जरिया है। क्या वो पुराना ट्रक बेचकर नया ट्रक खरीद सकता है? बट बिफोर दैट, लेट अस सी व्हाट नितिन गडकरी हैज टू से अबाउट द स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी। He says this is a transformative step to introduce a regime of fitter automobiles on Indian roads. The policy is a perfect blend of incentives and disincentives, directly making the roads safer and air cleaner. सुरक्षा और वातावरण, इनको दुरुस्त करने के लिए ये पॉलिसी लाई गई है. बट जैसे नितिन गडकरी जी ने कहा, देयर आर इंसेंटिव्स एंड देयर आर डिसइंसेंटिव्स. लेट अस सी क्विकली व्हाट द इंसेंटिव्स आर ऑफ द स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी. दोस्तों, गवर्नमेंट के अनुसार जो व्हीकल स्क्रैप होगा उसका स्क्रैप वैल्यू 4 से 6% होगा नए ट्रक के दामों के मुकाबले. 4 to 6% of ex-showroom price of a new vehicle of a similar model. Apart from that, registration fees will be waived off for purchase of new vehicle against the certificate of deposit. At the same time, OEMs have been advised to give a discount, 5% discount on purchase of new vehicles against certificate of deposit. व्हीकल निर्माताओं को 5% छूट देनी होगी नई गाड़ी के परचेज पर, अगर एक बायर उसके पास सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट ले जाता है तो. ऑल्सो ड्राफ्ट रूल्स हैव बीन नोटिफाइड टू स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स टू ऑफर कंसेशन ऑन मोटर व्हीकल टैक्स ऑफ अप टू 50% फॉर ट्रांसपोर्ट व्हीकल्स. 50% की छूट मोटर व्हीकल टैक्स पर. एंड दोस्तों, अगर डिसइंसेंटिव्स की बात करें तो फिटनेस टेस्ट की फ़ीस बढ़ाई गई है और फिटनेस सर्टिफिकेट जो कमर्शियल व्हीकल्स को 15 साल बाद लेना पड़ता है उसकी भी फ़ीस काफ़ी हद तक बढ़ाई गई है. गवर्नमेंट चाहती है कि आप खुद ही अपना ट्रक स्क्रैपिंग के लिए ले जाएं, वहाँ से सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट लें और उसके बाद जो इंसेंटिव्स हैं उसका लाभ उठाएं. दिस साउंड्स वेरी गुड इफ़ अ ट्रांसपोर्ट कंपनी और अ फ्लीट ओनर वॉज टू स्क्रैप हिज ट्रक एंड बाय अ न्यू ट्रक. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली दोस्तों, ये जो पुराने ट्रक हैं ये सिंगल ट्रक ओनर्स के पास होते हैं ज़्यादातर. क्या उसमें वो क्षमता है फाइनेंशियली एंड ऑपरेशनली कि वो ब्रांड न्यू ट्रक खरीद कर उसे चला सके, उससे अपनी घर की रोज़ी रोटी चला सके? इस तरफ शायद गवर्नमेंट ने ध्यान नहीं दिया है या ये चूक गए हैं कि एक ट्रकर ही है जिसके पास पुराने ट्रक होंगे. किसी छोटे से शहर में वो शायद कूड़ा उठा रहे होंगे, शायद लोकल ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में इन्वॉल्व होंगे, बट देयर इज़ नो वे दैट ही वुड बी कैरिंग गुड्स विच कॉल फॉर अ ब्रांड न्यू ट्रक. दोस्तों, फिटनेस के भी कुछ रूल्स हैं. गवर्नमेंट कह रही है कि वो ऑटोमेटेड फिटनेस सेंटर खोलेंगे जहाँ पर ट्रकर को ट्रक ले जाना होगा और उसकी जांच करानी होगी. हमने कई ट्रांसपोर्टर्स से बात की और उन्हें कहीं ना कहीं एक डर बैठ गया है उनके दिल में कि ये फिटनेस सेंटर्स जो हैं एक करप्शन का हब बन जाएंगे, क्योंकि एंड ऑफ द डे वहाँ पर एक ऑफिशियल है जो सब कुछ देख रहा होगा. अगर वो एक ट्रकर को कह दे कि मैं आपका टेस्ट फेल कर रहा हूँ, ट्रकर के पास क्या ऑप्शन है उस ट्रक को ज़िंदा रखने का? क्योंकि याद रखिए दोस्तों, ट्रक उसकी रोज़ी रोटी है. हम आशा करते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट ट्रकर की तरफ सहानुभूति से पेश आए और कुछ ऐसे रूल्स निकाले जो ट्रकर को भी बेनिफिट करें. अगर देखा जाए तो जो ट्रकर है, अगर हम प्रैक्टिकली देखें तो ट्रकर अगर अपना पुराना ट्रक स्क्रैप करता है जो 15 साल या 20 साल पुराना है, वो एक ब्रांड न्यू ट्रक नहीं खरीदेगा, लेकिन शायद वो एक 7, 8, 9 साल का ट्रक खरीद सकता है. गवर्नमेंट कैन मेक दैट फैसिलिटी अवेलेबल. उसे चीप और इजी फाइनेंस दे दे ताकि वो एक प्री ओन ट्रक खरीद कर अपना घर चला सके. We would request the government to consider this very seriously because it is the livelihood of lakhs of truckers across India. दोस्तों, दूसरी खबरों में स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी को आगे ले जाते हुए टाटा मोटर्स ने गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात के साथ अग्रीमेंट साइन किया है टू सपोर्ट setting up of a vehicle scrapping unit in Ahmedabad. In our interview segment this week, friends, we have a very special guest once again. He has been the president of Bombay Goods Transport Association and currently he is the national president of All India Transporters Welfare Association. This gentleman is Mr. Mahendra Arya. Mr. Mahendra Arya has had a long journey in the road transport industry, but that's not all about him. Besides being a transporter, besides heading an all India organization, he is a poet, he is a writer, he is an artist. In fact, just last week, he released his first book, and previously also he has been writing plays which have been enacted on stage with him being the lead actor. Please welcome Mr. Mahendra Arya, and here is an exclusive interview with him, the first part of an exclusive interview with him, where he talks about the road transport industry, he talks about the activities of AITWA and what is the future of this industry. Please keep watching Trans India, and we once again request you to subscribe to this channel, to stay tuned with the latest happenings in the industry and interviews and panel discussions with experts from the transport as well as the automobile industry. महेंद्र जी, आपका मोटिवेशन क्या है to keep working for this transport industry?
I'm self-motivated. So I belong to this industry. ये इंडस्ट्री है जो हमें हमारा ब्रेड एंड बटर देती है, तो इसे सुचारू रूप से चलाना भी हमारी जिम्मेवारी होती है. तो किसी न किसी को कुछ न कुछ करना जरूरी होता है. हर आदमी को अपने हिस्से का जो कमिटमेंट है वो पूरा करना चाहिए. अगर हर व्यक्ति अपने खाली व्यक्तिगत व्यापार पर लग जाएगा तो फिर व्यापार भी नहीं चलने वाला. तो मुझे लगता है कि यही मोटिवेशन है कि द बिजनेस शुड कंटिन्यू, द ट्रेड शुड कंटिन्यू, इन फैक्ट द कंट्री शुड कंटिन्यू, because we are the backbone of the economy.
Absolutely. But how different is it working at the BGTL level and working at the AITWA level? What are the challenges?
Challenges are in fact similar. Levels change. When I was the president of Bombay Goods Transport Association, at that time my main concerns were of the state or maybe city, Mumbai. And whenever there was a national requirement, for example, when I was president, service tax was a major issue. Then we participated at the national level also, but representing my region, my zone only. Now the situation is that I have to communicate with all the zones, all the major cities, all associations, their requirements, their problems. We have to come out with solutions. People expect that something will happen. कुछ नया होगा, हमारे ट्रेड के लिए कुछ अच्छा होगा, तो वो अच्छा करने की दिशा में हम निरंतर काम करते रहते हैं. ये नेशनल लेवल पर एक जिम्मेवारी का जो फील है वो पूरे देश का हो जाता है.
It is quite a heavy burden to carry also, especially with the government not being very responsive.
See, there are different segments. As far as communicating with the government part is concerned, the government somehow has been detaching themselves with the people, at least with the transporters. And that is our experience in the last 2 years. It was not so bad prior to that. In these years, the distance is with the ministers, but at the lower level there have been work which was going on. There have been new subjects, various committees which are functioning. They have been inviting us to participate in the policy making. For example, I'll tell you, we are part of many such groups with the government, the ODC movement policy, then creating the standards for the transport industry. We are a part of that group. Then multimodal, which is a new thing in government, is now promoting the multimodal with their special interest in the train. They understand that unless things are married together, nothing is going to work. The trains also. So the multimodal is their new interest, the end-to-end logistics. All these things are happening. And I will say, I will appreciate the government that I can feel that they are proactive now. They are calling us, they are inviting us, and that could be one reason that things are happening on the video conference. because it's not a physical presence required. So they can easily call people from all different cities without asking them to travel to Delhi. So that's another reason. So it's a mixed situation. I will not say it's really very bad.
But any particular reason that the government has not been interacting with the transporters, especially the Union Transport Minister? He hasn't met this industry for last, I think, maybe more than 2 years now.
That is true. That is true. But our issues are such that they cannot address. Our major issues have been, one was the diesel prices. Now, none of the ministers have any answer for this, because this is a centralized government policy that diesel is made as a tax collection device. Because somebody discussed with me very interesting thing, that earlier excise was one tool which became GST, and then income tax the second tool. But both the tools are very complicated. The GST is a complicated tool to collect taxes, and the government has to have a big, large infrastructure all over the country. And the policies have to be kept volatile, looking at the situation. But income tax, of course, is hardly any collection, because a very small percentage of the population is involved, and the cost of collection is very high. So the easiest collection of taxes is the petroleum products, for which the government doesn't have to do any efforts. At any given price, people will come to the petrol pump, pay for the diesel, for the petrol, for gasoline, everything, and without any murmur. And so if we want the government to talk on that, government would not like to engage with us unless we change our subject.
So, sir, how does the transport industry tackle this situation where your operating costs are going up, mainly driven by diesel, and on the other hand, freight rates have remained stagnant, if not going down? How does the industry survive this scenario?
See, to some extent, the industry itself is responsible, because government is not asking you that you should not increase your freight. Everybody is free to change his prices as per his costing. But somehow the transport industry has consigned themselves to their fate, that we don't have to struggle to get the price increase. Otherwise, my customer will be unhappy, and he will change the transporter. So that fear, I think, is very much inbuilt in the people, and that is to some extent true also. Because unless we have something special to offer, and if somebody else is going to serve for a lower price, then we cannot have our place. So we have to create some kind of speciality within ourselves, some additional services, so that we are not dispensable easily, and then only we can ask for a better prices. Though it is easy to say that, but I do feel that it's really difficult. Maybe it's a disbalance between the demand and the supply. There's too much of supply compared to the demand.
So what has ITHWA been doing off late while engaging with the government? What are its demands? Because one thing what I have seen is ITHWA is less of an association which keeps asking for reduction in taxes or reduction in prices or fuel or whatever. They are more on the policy side. So what is the latest that you're working on?
Yeah, I totally agree. In fact, that is our philosophy also. You don't go on breaking your head against something which is not possible. Diesel, if you go on asking for a reduction in the diesel price, our friends should realize in the last 25 years, there is not a single instance when the diesel prices was rolled back. And there must have been at least 4 or 5 strikes on that subject. So it is pretty clear. The government is not going to roll back the prices of the petroleum products. So when it is obvious, then you should change the tone. If you ask me, what should be my question now? So if I meet the transport minister, my request will be, sir, if you cannot change the pricing system or the way you increase, that's fine. But make it a quarterly change, so that on a particular, in a particular quarter, on the day when you have declared a price, that should be valid for the 3 months. So we can accordingly deal with our customers and ask for the price for the 3 months. At the end of the 3 months, whatever is the deficit which you have faced because of the movement of the up and down movement of the crude prices, that you realize in the next quarter, so that your losses are made up. Or if you have earned extra, then you can reduce the price in the next quarter. So the same thing will happen, but it will happen quarterly. So that will give some relief to the transport industry to function properly. That would be my demand.
So what about the e-way bill? I mean, there's been a lot of issues, lot of problems because of the e-way bill. First, tell me what are the challenges and how is ITHWA taking this up?
E-way bill is a larger problem than the diesel itself, because this is something which has been planned without properly thinking or taking the data from the ground level. Initially, when the GST was introduced, there was no e-way bill in the site. It was an understanding between the buyer and the seller. They will go online, file a contract that they are going to buy some quantity, some at a certain price, and which will involve so much of taxes. Who will pay taxes? So the sales in the GST regime is a prepaid kind of business. So there is no chance of any evasion of tax. The person who is selling, he is already committed, or the person who is buying is already committed about the payment of the GST. So transporters were involved because the movement was to take place through them. In the beginning, government was not insisting on any kind of restrictions. But gradually, when this council idea was floated, the GST council, all the states were used to have some tough conditions created for the transporters. The presumption was that the transporters are dishonest and they are going to help the traders or the consignees in the fraud. That was the wrong perception. So the whole idea was changed when the e-way bill was introduced, and that too with a provision of time. Now nobody can control the time of journey. It is a matter of a transporter and his customer. If my customer wants something within 24 hours, then that is our concern. How do I deliver in 24 hours? But sometimes the consignor wants it in 5 days. Then again, it is my planning. And how do I do that? Apart from that, there are many other reasons of not sticking to the time schedule. One is, in case of part load, there is a collection time. In a city like Mumbai or Delhi, any large place, the bookings are done at various places and the goods are brought to a central place for consolidation. Now that process itself takes 1 or 2 days. So the 2 days are lost. Similarly, in many cases, there is a transshipment system. Part loads for different locations are carried to a central place, say Bangalore or say Indore or Nagpur. And from there, again, the accumulation at the godown will happen, and over next few days, station to station vehicles will be consolidated. So all these things take time. E-way bill does not allow any kind of such relaxation so that these times can be considered. Moreover, e-way bill works on a pin code to pin code basis. Now that's the most ridiculous thing. Government thinks it's like geometrically a straight line in which a transporter is going to travel. From the starting pin code to the destination pin code, they just draw a straight line. Okay, so many kilometers are there by the road. So that is the limit you have got. And you have to cover 200 kilometers in a day. Now this is ridiculous. The transportation, the working model is not point to point. There is a hub and spoke system which is prevalent all over the world. It's not something which we are going to introduce. It has always been there. The government talks about it. In many of the meetings which I have attended, they say that we have to plan about the hub and spoke in future. How do you plan about hub and spoke? It doesn't work pin code to pin code. It is pin code to pin code to pin code. It can be a triangle. So that will add distance also and time also. And in a hub and spoke system, there is a transshipment business, which takes a lot of time again. I don't know on what basis GST is being practiced in India. This is all very ridiculous. They have made the rules which are undoable. And now to make it more difficult, the penalty side. Now they have introduced penalty if your e-way fails, if you're unable to reach in time as per decided calculated by the e-way bill, then what? Recently, we sent a letter to a particular GST department. Ki, sir, my vehicle has failed the e-way bill time limit on the highway. What can I do? What is the solution for me to carry on my journey? And the reply was, ki, you have failed, so you have failed, you have no option. Now, how can you work? If I have failed in time, then I have no option. Then I have become a criminal. And I should wait for somebody to come catch hold of me and charge me for the penalty. That is the only issue left. And the penalties are tremendous. They say if it is on the consignor, then it will be double the GST amount.
Right.
But why should any consignor pay the penalty? He will say, I have given the material to the transporter. It's his business. If he is delayed, then it's his problem. I'm not involved. And for a transporter, it is the value of the goods. You are carrying goods worth 50 lakhs rupees. Maybe you are taking 40,000 rupees as your transportation charges, but you become liable to pay 50 lakhs rupees. Now, this is all nonsense. This is not a banana republic. You cannot just go on making such kind of rules. And the worst part, in spite of so much of reminders at different level, meeting up to finance minister, there has been no result. Finance minister said that such decisions can be taken by the council only. Council, first they did not have a meeting for 7 months. Then they had a meeting about a couple of months back. And the item was not on the agenda. In spite of so much of reminder, so much of national hue and cry, there was a one-day strike by AITWA. We published a full-page problem ad in Economic Times. Government is not ready to listen.
But isn't it very unfortunate that on one hand the government even does not listen to us and it passes these rules without engaging with the transporters in the first place? What are we missing here?
I think somewhere something is wrong with the government as far as e-way bill is concerned. No sane government or minister or council should make such rules. And so far this has, there have been many cases, case to case people have gone to the court, and in many cases court have taken the right decision also. Now what is required is to take up the matter to the highest level, that is the Supreme Court. And well, AITWA is working on it.
You're planning to file a case there?
Yes, we are working on it. We'll take up the matter to the Supreme Court for a final decision on this. That is, the government, I think, is gradually trying to reduce the dependence of the nation from the road transport. Now, AITWA is again doing some effort to bring the two things together. Let the truckers and the transport companies, let them come together, let them shake hands. And then that 8% which is going in between to a third party can be shared between them, or can reduce the cost, if not shared at all. And maybe a part of that will be useful for reducing the cost for the customer. And the government's dream that why the logistics cost is high in the country, that will also come true. It's not that the rail is going to wipe out the road transport. As I told you, there will be a multimodal kind of situation now. Every road transporter will have to engage with the railways.
Friends, next week we will be back with you with the second part of Mr. Mahendra Arya's interview, where he talks more and takes us into insights of this industry. So keep watching Trans India, Real People, Real Emotions, and before you leave us, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's grow and let's make a future for this industry.